Welcome to the first episode of ASBO Radio. What? Coming live and direct from Brixton in South London. Done know, man, for the culture. My name is Ash Beard Guy, aka Ashton Zala, and tonight I'm joined by
Noel. Yeah.
Tonight on the first episode of ASBO Radio, what we're gonna do is we're gonna delve into the concept of masculinity, but not as you know it. We're gonna delve into masculinity as it's portrayed in the media and beyond. So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna discuss what masculinity means to us personally. What do you think it is? We're gonna look at it both literally and maybe culturally as well. How our upbringings has shaped what our perceptions of masculinity are. So I'm joined by the young man Noel, as you can see next to me. Noel, what does masculinity mean to you, my friend?
Alright, so I'd think masculinity is, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, this is what I think, innit? It's basically the ability to protect and provide, basically. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Using your energy as a man to protect and provide in any situation.
Okay.
In any aspect, in various aspects. And how you do that could be shown in different ways, innit? Financially, physically, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I hear that. So to me personally, masculinity it's a multifaceted concept. It's the way how one performs being a man or a male presenting person. It's made up of certain things. It can be how one performs it culturally, how one performs it physically, with like non-verbal communication, how one obviously performs it verbally in the way you speak, how you carry yourself, etc. And also, for me, masculinity is not an immutable concept. It's something that is flexible. There's no one perceived definition of what it is and how it is performed. Personally, for me, I have definitely very much had an Afro-Caribbean upbringing. Obviously, as you know, my family is Jamaican. And that has definitely shaped the way in which I perceive and perform masculinity myself. So, no, your upbringing, you're East African, right? Your
Yeah,
family's
I'm
from Uganda.
Ghana and Uganda.
So how has that shaped your perception of masculinity and the way in which you as a young man yourself, I'm not going to say exactly how old you are, but how is that?
I'm old.
How is that?
I'm old.
old head in a young body. So how is that? How has your East African upbringing shaped the way in which you perform masculinity and which you exist as a man, effectively?
Okay, so where do I start? So I'd say from my upbringing, I'd say that everything I've learned, in terms of masculinity, it's always been like a traditional set of values. You know, growing up, you had your Marge, you had your dad. The dad being the provider, the Marge being the mum. Sorry, let me be more. You know what I mean? The mum being taking care of you and taking care of the family while the dad goes out and goes to work and everything. As I've grown up, I've realized that's not always the case, kind of. Sometimes the dad doesn't always have to... The dad is masculine, I think, but sometimes it's not always masculine and feminine. Sometimes both got to take over at some points, if you get what I mean.
I hear what you're saying,
yeah.
but I don't know. For some strange reason, society assigns certain aspects of masculinity and femininity to certain acts, and I don't understand why. Personally, what gender roles, for example,
Okay.
staying home and taking taking care of the children or taking care of the homemaking is seen somewhat as a traditionally feminine thing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Say, for example, a wife might earn considerably more than her husband, and it might make more financial sense for the husband to stay at home and take care of the children and do things that are seen as traditionally feminine. However, that doesn't make him any less of a man, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. And I hear you with that one, you know, I hear you with that one, because
You hear me, but there's a but to that. You hear me. I can tell in your voice that there's a but
yeah,
to
no,
that.
because I'm trying to articulate how I'd say that, because yeah, that is the case. It can sometimes not always be. Oh yeah. It cannot always be like a traditional set of values for like a man to do this and certain, basically what you said, gender roles, innit? Like, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. I think being brought up, it's like you feel like for certain times you have to be in that lane. Do you get what I'm saying? And then lanes of roles. So I'm glad you talked on that, because
I hear what
it's
you're
not
saying.
always the case. I don't know what I'd say that is making me feel like, oh, it's kind of weird when you can't do those set of roles. Do you get what I'm saying? When you've grown up and you feel like you have to do those set of roles.
I understand what you're saying. Me personally, as I've grown up, I grew up in as I said, a traditional, relatively traditional Christian Afro-Caribbean household. And I personally want to be a provider and
Exactly,
want
yeah.
to protect my family and my wife eventually and my children. However, if a man wasn't a provider, and again, his partner, whether that be woman, whatever, man, etc., if his partner was out there working and being the provider, that shouldn't necessarily make us see him as any less of a man or as any less masculine. If you see what I'm saying, he can still perform what we see as traditional masculinity, or he should still be seen as traditionally masculine, even though he's subverting what we would see as societal ideas of what gender roles are. If you see what I'm saying?
Okay, that's cool, but like how though? Because I think it's because of my understanding of what masculinity is in it, and I feel like I need to look into it deeper. But isn't it
possibly? That's not. It could be because of your age.
Yeah.
And obviously you haven't gone out into the big wide world. But
I'm 25.
You're definitely not 25. We're not gonna come up here on ASBO Radio, which will be distributed on BSE's internet. Brep.
Come on.
And lie right now, man. You're not 25, man.
Hey,
Stop lying,
hey,
man.
I'm old.
We're not lying. We're not lying here. But
yeah.
It might be possibly because of your age. Maybe you have a nascent idea of what masculinity is, a kind of limited view. And when you go out into the big wide world, when you eventually possibly go into higher education and possibly, no, you're working already, but go into an established sustainable job, maybe you'll come across different people, and maybe that will culturally change the way in which you view masculinity now. Because I've definitely gone out into the big wide world, and my somewhat, I would say, limited perspective of what masculinity and what gender roles were has changed. It's grown, it's expanded. Now, me personally, I definitely fit the way in which I operate, the way in which I move, the way in which I present myself. I definitely still fit into what one would define in terms of societal ideas and biases as a traditional or as a Afro-Caribbean man. The way I present myself, the way I speak, the way I operate, the way I look after my loved ones. However, I don't think that there's any issues with somebody that doesn't want to carry themselves that way. I just like carrying myself that way because that's how I am and that's who I am as a person, innit?
I have a question for you, though. And I hate to be that guy in the podcast that doesn't have a mic, bro. Why do I get a mic? But flipping, my question is, what makes you lot men, innit? What do you think makes you lot men?
What makes you a man? Well, I'm trying to become one. I feel like I'm on the path to becoming one, actually. So let me rephrase that.
So you don't think you're a man?
Partially, yeah. I'm a boy becoming a man. I feel like I'm a man. Okay, whoa, because I'm stuttering. So, wait, let me think. Say that again. You said what makes me a man? Wow, good question. I think it's what I offer. And yeah, I'm gonna delve into that. All right, for my crafts, working on piano. Okay, let me make it basic. Okay, crafts and the ability for me to provide. I think that's what makes me a man. And through that, I mean,
So you think that a man? So you said that's what makes you a man.
Yeah.
So you think a man should solely be judged by, or for you personally, you think that your ability to provide is a core tenet of what you are, of who you are as a man, and you think that a man's ability to provide is an important part of masculinity and his manhood.
I think so. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Would you disagree?
I don't think a man should solely be judged by his ability for what he can provide for a romantic partner and any future offspring he has in the future. I think that's wrong. What makes me a man personally, let me lead into that, is the way I present myself, the way I carry myself, my appearance, the way I speak, my intelligence, and also the way in which I perform masculinity, the way that I embrace and love my nerdiness and my nerd and facets of nerd culture. Some may see that as not traditionally masculine. So even though I primarily present myself according to and in line with what society would traditionally see as masculine, I do subvert it somewhat. And I think that's what makes me me and what makes me a dope human being, to be perfectly honest. So I want to move the conversation forward. I don't want us to hang up on that too long. And I don't want to really delve into negativity. Like ASBO Radio, even though it stands for like All Souls Bring Openness, etc., and we want to have this open discussion, we also really need to like move towards the light and stay in positivity, that warmth, man. Because I'm telling you, man, like, not to plug man like Mags, man like UC, swear, and man like Phoenix, but these individuals that have put this together, the reason why we're even here, these are men that bring light and warmth and positivity. I feel like ASBO Radio is something that needs to stick to that, man. So I don't really want to delve into the negativity surrounding that kind of stuff. So the next question would be, what sort of positive portrayals of masculinity have you seen in the media that really resonate with you? This could be in film, television, documentaries, music, like what really resonate with you? Could be fictional, could be non-fictional.
It's gonna have to start with anime. It's really gonna have to. It's gonna have to. Yeah,
so you see the Black Anime podcast hoodie and all that, man. You're talking man's language.
Exactly.
But yeah, go on.
Literally, first brother, Luffy.
Okay.
Luffy's a good.
So delve into that. What intrinsic qualities does Luffy have as a man, a rubber man, that make him a positive, role model and a positive portrayal of masculinity within media?
Okay. So first of all, I'll start with his characteristics that inspire.
Sure.
Me. I'd say his perseverance, his will to achieve his goal. I'll just be like basic, his will to achieve his goal, and also his character and how he treats those around him, and his ability to protect them, and why he always continues to try get stronger at certain points in order to ensure that happens. And yeah, that's literally it. Other characters.
So, like, I like what you said there, man. Especially his will to always get stronger, always improve himself, so that he can protect others. See, being a protector and also a provider, because as you know, Luffy is captain of the Straw Hats, the Straw Hat Pirates. That is a positive. That's an aspect of masculinity that's seen as traditional, but it is also a very, very, very much a positive one. Whereas sometimes men are portrayed as villainous, and their wants and needs, desires, the way they treat women are seen as a threat to women. Luffy's protective characteristics, his instincts, his will to always drive forward and protect his crew and provide for his crew is seen as a positive. And that is a very much a positive portrayal of a man within media. So yeah, that's a dope example, man. I knew you was going to take it to the anime.
I had to.
You had to, man. You got a big anime nerd right here, man. So yeah, what's your next example? Just throw out a couple more.
All right, let's do up a Spider-Man thing. a Spider-Man.
So Peter Parker.
Yeah, Peter Parker, 100%.
And how does that resonate with you? How is Peter Parker shown as a positive masculine role model? Albeit a flawed one as well, because Spidey's not perfect.
Spidey is not perfect.
So yeah,
and that's one.
So expand upon that. Talk about the positive aspects. Talk about also the aspects of his character that might possibly be seen as negative, and how he moves past those, flaws within his character.
Okay, cool. So first of all, if you talk about Spider-Man, his main motto, responsibility. Great power comes with responsibility. He's a responsible brother.
Which comes from his Uncle Ben.
Yeah,
Shout out Uncle Ben one
shout
time.
Out Uncle, man.
Not the Uncle Ben that's on the Bryce packet, although I mess with him too, man. Rest in peace, Uncle Ben. But yeah, go on, continue, man. Sorry, man.
All right, so obviously the Spider-Man and there's Peter Parker. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Peter Parker is would I say Peter Parker's masculine?
I would say he is.
You'd say
He's a nerd, but I mean, I wouldn't say that. I would say that he has the way in which he's portrayed within the comics. That portrayal of his masculinity is very much nuanced. But think really deep it and think about it. You're questioning his masculinity, but what is making you question whether Peter Parker is masculine or not?
That's that's hard. Yeah, when you look at Peter Parker, I hear you when you say masculine. You portray him as masculinity, I guess.
I mean, if you look at what about him is not traditionally masculine? He pulled to go into colloquialism, he pulls nothing but baddies. Yeah, pulls nothing but baddies. He's clever. He uses his intelligence. He uses his intelligence both as Peter Parker and as Spider-Man to protect an entire city and to regularly defeat an exceptionally dangerous roster of criminals. He's a protector. He's a provider. What about Peter Parker is not traditionally masculine, other than the fact that you think he's a nerd?
No, I think the aspect I'm not appreciating. Yeah, well, that's not the right word. The aspect of it is the power. Right. He doesn't portray the power, innit? But when you said that Peter Parker is masculine, I can see that perspective. I guess I didn't look
traditionally masculine. As I said, masculinity can be performed in many different ways, which we haven't got time to delve into in any kind of academic detail right now. But yeah,
what was I gonna say? Peter Parker doesn't portray masculinity through a physical and power sense, but that doesn't mean he isn't masculine.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying? And yeah, I appreciate that perspective that you showed, because I feel that's what mainly the media wants that shows you traditional masculinity. You know what I'm saying? To be physical,
100%.
Power, macho, all of this.
Yeah.
But like you said, masculinity can be showed in various different ways.
Through intellect.
Any way
That's
you can.
a big way of showing it.
Literally. Any way you can protect and provide, really.
And we're back on ASBO Radio.
We're back with a mic.
We are joined by the one and only Max,
aka the director of the Sun Studio, aka Butter BSC, aka ASBO Radio,
aka
I
don't even know, man.
I was out of AKs.
We're out of AKs now, man. I don't know, man. Where were we even in the conversation? I think we were talking. Oh yeah, we were talking about fictional portrayals of masculinity that really resonated with us, and then we went into the fourth question, which I was gonna ask, which would have been how they resonated with us and informed our masculinity. So I explained how basically those two examples, TJ from Power Rangers Turbo and later Power Rangers Space, and Ethan from Power Rangers Dino Thunder resonated with me and really basically informed the way in which I performed masculinity and felt comfortable performing masculinity. So now we got Gavin, and it's time to grill this guy.
Jeez.
So Gavin, Mags. Oh, we know. Oh shit. Sorry.
It's not that deep. All
right, one second.
Yeah, Mags is preferred.
So yeah, now we got Mags. It's time to grill Mags. Mags,
Wow.
what are examples of or portrayals of masculinity that you've seen in media? Can be fictional, can be non-fictional, that have really resonated with you as a man and have informed the way in which you perform masculinity from childhood, from when you're knee-high to a grasshopper, to now?
You obviously got a shout out Static Shock.
Oh yeah.
Man said Virgil Hawkins,
I
you
can't lie.
done know.
Definitely got a shout out
I'm gonna
Static
act like I
Shock.
know that.
Got a
You
shout
remember
out.
Static Shock?
Nah,
I've
he's
heard
too
of
young.
it.
He's too
I've
young
heard
for
of
it.
it,
He's
but
too
I
young
don't-
for
You
it.
don't remember Static Shock?
I know about it, but I didn't watch it. I didn't.
Superheroes,
Yeah,
Electric
Static
brother, innit?
Shock.
Yeah,
Man said
yeah,
electric
yeah,
brother.
yeah, yeah.
Don't
He was
disrespect
cold,
Virgil
he was
Hawkins
electric
like
brother,
that. He's an electric brother, but he's so much more than that.
It's cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on, talk more about that. Delve into that.
I mean, it was cool, innit? I was too young to even clock what masculinity was, but I was like, bro, black superhero, he's got flipping dreads and that, he's saving people, he's the man. He was the man, innit? He was the cool guy, innit?
Listen, that
Do you know what
cartoon.
I
I mean, that cartoon, and even the way that Virgil performed masculinity in
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
from the
yeah.
Big Bang, from when he was getting involved in all of the near criminal behavior.
Yeah.
He was kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It's the
almost.
truth. It's the truth.
To when there was that episode that touched on gun violence. Do you remember that?
There was.
Yeah.
Oh man, there was. Man.
There was even an episode
time ago
that even
bro.
touched on. Remember Richie's racist dad as well.
Oh yeah.
And the way in which
I saw
Virgil
that recently on
performed-
social media. I
Yeah,
think.
and the way in which Virgil performed masculinity there and didn't
Yeah.
and wasn't abrasive, wasn't rude, still remained respectful, even in the face of like outright anti-blackness and racism from his best friend's father. Those are all positive aspects to Virgil's character, and as a positive portrayal of black masculinity within media. Any other examples you got for us?
Bear, man, I got bear.
Run
Got
through them,
flipping.
bruv. Go through, man.
Obviously, shout out Uncle Phil and Aunt Vivian.
Oh, say that.
Yeah, Uncle Phil more. But
But obviously, you will say Uncle Phil more. But Aunt Vivian, the original Aunt Vivian,
Yeah.
when she put Will onto flipping. What you call it? It wasn't about Malcolm X, but she had that speech about. Did you even read the book? And it was all serious. Aunt Vivian was a
100%.
proper.
She was about that life, man, 100%, and making sure that her nephew and her sons were young, upstanding men and performing masculinity in a positive way that didn't negatively impact on the women and female presenting people around them. So yeah, 100%. Aunt Viv was about that life, man.
100%. Nah, I'm not gonna go that silly with Michael Kyle, but I live in.
Man said Michael Kyle.
He was jokes. Yeah. I was like, yeah.
My Wife and
literally.
Kids.
Yeah, My Wife and Kids. Yeah.
My for kids. Junior,
it's
open the door, close the door. I am so confused. So
Lost.
you are old enough to remember that. Okay, now we're okay.
Yeah, you got Flex from 101. Yeah.
Man said Trouble Days.
Trouble Days.
Listen,
Yeah.
Actually, I was about to say the dad from Moesha, and then we found out that man had a secret child in it. Remember Ray J in it, so it's just like that's kind of sneaky still. It's a bit of a man, but then again, but most
real.
he was
It's
most.
real.
It's real. Like a lot of people have secret children, man.
100%.
We're not gonna go into that because we're not that kind of show, man.
Or?
No,
Nah,
Moesha was live
like
action.
live action. Yeah.
You know Brandy, don't you? You ever
I
seen
wanna
that?
be down.
You know Ray J?
With
know
what
Ray J?
you
Ray J sounds
going
familiar.
through.
Man
I
said
hit
Brandy
it
and Ray
first,
J.
bro. I hit it first.
Man said Ray J sounds familiar. Listen,
Yeah.
listen,
He
I'm not
knows
even
the
gonna-
age.
Yeah,
That's
the age
AJ,
thing,
Ray
age
J.
thing,
Yeah,
yeah,
he knows
Ray J.
Ray
If I
J.
had the tune, I'll probably know.
Yeah, you know who Ray J
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
You know who Ray J
Oh,
is.
just watch Love and Hip Hop. Actually, no, you're probably too.
Yeah.
Are you too
come
young
on.
to watch Love and Hip Hop? Just watch Love and Hip Hop. Is it Los Angeles? It might be Los
But
Angeles.
that doesn't represent
Doesn't
Ray
matter.
J though,
Nah,
man.
not really.
It was a time period, didn't it? It was a time period.
Ray J phoning into the Breakfast Club represents Ray J.
Oh,
Ray J.
100%.
Remember that?
What did he say? Are we live? Are we live?
Charlamagne, are we live? Money, you came here and you fuck with the
But
money
these
team.
punk
We got
maggots.
five. We got 5 Porsches. We got 5 Porsches, 6 Benzes. Can't come out here and
I got
fuck
an
with the
indoor
money
pool.
team.
I got an outdoor pool.
Indoor pool, got an outdoor pool. Listen, don't even get but yeah. But yeah,
So,
man. Continue.
Gilmore as well. They got Gilmore. You don't know about Gilmore? The detective, he was in like
Oh,
a high school.
yeah.
And
Ball
the glasses, ball man with the glasses. Fillmore. I said Gilmore.
Cornelius Fillmore.
can't lie.
He was funny
Fillmore.
enough.
Yeah.
Was voiced by Orlando Brown, who who played Eddie on.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a Raven.
Raven. That's a Raven. Yeah. For
That's
sure.
a Raven
for
was
sure.
so hard, man.
Yeah, hard.
Even the dad in That's a Raven.
100%. Yeah. Positive.
Positive black male role model.
100%. And
110%.
can't forget the serious one, Lawrence Fishburne in Boys in the Hood.
110%.
Furious. I think his name was Furious, isn't it?
I need to rewatch that.
Well, his name was Furious, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, man, bro.
Bro, it's literally been a decade since I've seen Boys in the Hood. I'm not gonna lie to you. Still.
He was a positive one still.
110%.
He was talking to him about gentrification. Obviously, when Trey was about to do the mad thing, he was obviously trying to stop him.
Of course.
And he was just teaching him how to be a man and not grow up like his brethren just up the road, around
Big
the block.
facts.
And so what happened to them? He was the only one that, I don't want to spoil it, but you know.
I'm glad Max jumped into the podcast. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man.
But yeah,
a lot of gems on us, Max, man.
Yeah, proper role models, man. But there's bare more though. I know I'm forgetting bare, but yeah, those are the ones that come to mind first still.
Oh man, I'm glad you jumped in, man. 100%. So we kind of have to wrap up the discussion now.
Of course.
It's been a dope episode of ASBO Radio so far, though, man. The first episode, you know.
Yeah, no, it's like
mad. It's mad. See UC in the back over there.
In the car.
Feeling like a Cheshire cat. Hey, yo, babes. Man's bare masculine, you know. Man's listening to this.
I wanted to ask, actually.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask, bro, because when you lot were talking about masculinity,
Yeah.
Obviously you said it's what you can provide and all that, yeah?
Yeah. And your potential. Let me add
And your potential, yeah.
Yeah,
This ain't even, this is an open discussion, so
boy.
it's
Of
open.
course.
It's a blank canvas.
Yeah, no, I
open
hear
to
that,
make mistakes, all
yeah.
innit?
None.
But what I was thinking, is that cool. Let's say, God forbid anything happens to you, yeah. Not even saying dead, just saying incapable of doing something, innit?
Yeah. I hear that.
Does that make you like not? Does that emasculate you? Does that make you like you're just not a man anymore just because you can't do those things that you're saying?
From the perspective of others, but from like society's perspective, I think so.
But I'm talking about you though.
I don't think
I don't care about. I'm talking about you.
God forbid that happens to me, I would definitely feel a certain type of way about that.
It might not even be physical. It might even just be like mental. Like you're just bruck. Do you get what I'm saying? Like something happens to you.
You can have. And this is where we talk about how masculinity can intersect with mental health.
100%.
Because men, and this is also a reason why a lot of men are committing suicide as opposed to gaining help. Because society, which includes the media, doesn't provide them with space to be emotionally open and vulnerable and to talk about their travails or the issues that they have with their mental health. Could be or physical health or so on and so forth. This is what I'm saying is where men shouldn't just be, and this is how society and the limited insular view of masculinity that society has for men can commodify men, and men can only be seen in terms of their monetary value. And when a man can't provide monetary value to either a woman or a company or whatever, society deems them as broken, ineffectual, and as less masculine. Now, if that kind of thing, if God forbid something like that were to happen to me, I'll be very open and honest. I have had depression before. I have dealt with that before. I have had really, really, really bad, and I still have really, really bad social anxiety. Does that make me, does the issues I've had with my mental health make me any less masculine? Hell no.
No way.
No, 110%. Hell no. So no, it doesn't make me any less of a man, or make a man any less of a man. That's a good random tangent that you took us off into. But yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, man, because I think the audience need to know that, because there's a lot of men that are doing things thinking that it's in light of their masculinity, innit? Do you know what I mean? Or feeling like they can't be themselves, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think in order to be masculine, you just need to serve your people, just always try to better yourself. Do you know what I mean? And it's like the fundamentals, but when you start putting like traditional values or even other values in that you see other people doing, because you don't really know what being a man is, it kind of like, I don't know, man, it just it takes away from you your essence as a being, innit? And
110%.
We just need to see masculinity in different areas,
Like
innit?
you should never perform masculinity to the detriment of yourself and your being.
Exactly.
Never do that, because
Exactly.
at the end of the day, you're just gonna end up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're just gonna end up like
Somewhere where you weren't prepared for.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
something
saying?
in a situation you weren't prepared for, and your mental health is gonna suffer.
Yeah.
So never perform masculinity or feel that you have to perform masculinity to the detriment of self.
100%.
And that's a major key, bro, for me.
100%.
110%.
If it's not true to yourself, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even if you feel like, even if performance masculinity in terms of like what society believes that it is, if that is to the detriment of yourself, don't friggin' do it.
Don't do it,
Just
bruv.
don't do it, man. I think that's a perfect note to end on. To be
100.
perfectly honest, Gavin.
I'm trying to think if there's anything in my head, bro. Is there anything in my
Max,
head?
man. Oh shit, I said Gavin. I
No,
think
it's
that's
cool,
a perfect
bro.
note
It's
to
cool, bro.
end on.
That's my
Max,
name, bro.
To be perfectly honest, I don't think we need to go on.
No, it's
So,
calm.
yeah.
My man's cool, innit? I just want to make sure we get all our thoughts out, innit?
But
Because
I
after this
definitely got all
conversation,
my
that's
thoughts
it.
out.
What about your age group, bro? Obviously, like, when you go into, like, them establishments, yeah,
Yeah.
coming from where you're coming from, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you see man, innit? Like, man that are your age, rare, they're rolling around, yeah. What do you think, like, because sometimes when I see the youth them out there, I'm like, right, it's all kind of uniform. Like, all of them have the same personality. It seems, innit? Because I don't really know them, innit? But how do you see masculinity for those people that you can't come through with on a day-to-day basis?
I feel like sometimes a lot of brothers, I think, even I can even like speak for myself sometimes. Sometimes we're trying to carry an image, like a certain type of image. I think man them are trying to carry a certain type of image, and I think it's out of fear. It's out of the state of fear, innit? Like wanting to be accepted, all of that kind of stuff. And I feel like that kind of can relate to the sense of masculinity, innit? Because where do I start? It relates to masculinity because like it's like the wanting to be accepted, innit? And through masculinity, it's like the ability to. I feel like if you're fully masculine, that's being true to yourself, right? Like
Big
what
up.
you were
That's
saying.
a good.
That's like you're tapping into your true potential of being able to
Being
protect
true
and
to
provide,
yourself. Yeah,
all of that stuff.
yeah.
And yeah, I feel like man them are moving certain ways, and having like what you said traditional, but like in like there's very different type of traditional set values in it.
Sometimes, yeah. Go on.
There's a lot of traditional set values like in terms of masculinity, and man them are trying to follow those roles. Do you get what I'm saying? And I could even say that sometimes I've followed those roles over this conversation.
100%. I could say
I've paid attention to the stuff we've been talking about. So yeah, it's like just a lot of man them are trying to follow certain roles, and I think it's all for acceptance.
It's like going for into the hyper masculinity bag, but that's a whole different bag.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
That's a whole different bag.
We're not
So
doing
we ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for
We're
that.
not doing that.
But-
Right now, I want to go home.
But it's
Man,
yeah,
like,
of
still.
course. And yeah, shout out Judge of Souls because that's also a good example of
He's
positive
definitely a good role model.
role model, innit?
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And if you don't know about
all the
Judge of
stuff that he's
Souls,
done for the community.
exactly, just
Um,
look him up, bruv. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't be here today. You feel me? Giving you the message. And shit.
100%. So yeah, that's a good note to end on. Thank you all for listening in and tuning in to ASBO Radio.
Big up
And we
yourselves,
will be
ASBO.
back next week.
Come on.
Come on. Alternate systems, breaking orders, anti-social brand originals,
All
and last but
souls-
not least,
All souls bring openness.